Okay, on this video I'm going to talk to you about the different kinds of coin mechs. The reason I want to do that is because when you call to order a coin mech, we want you to be more educated, more familiar with it, so that we get you the right coin mech. We do have some notes and paperwork that we can follow. It's not always correct. Going with exactly what is before you is always the best way. And if you know exactly what you're dealing with and what you're looking for, then we're a lot better off. These are the most common mechs that we have. We'll start over here. These first three right here are what we call S1 coin mechs. Now the second two look a lot alike, but let's deal with the first one, okay? The first one is an S1 coin mech, okay? But it's what we call a short coin mech, okay? Then you turn this over, you also notice that this coin mech has a plastic boot. It's very important that when you call to order that you let us know that it's an S1 short mech, and you'll know that by just being able to measure it. Actually, this measures like 2.5 by or 3 inches by like 4 inches. So that's or by 5 inches, and that's really important because this, compared to say this metal boot, makes a big difference in fitment in the ride that you might be working on. For instance, if you have this in here, or if you have this metal boot in a ride already, and you call and you say, yeah, I got this mech, and you don't specify that it has plastic at the back end or that it has metal, and you get a plastic one, this mech a lot of times will not fit where this mech is in a ride already. Okay, so we have the S1 short, then we got our S1s that are tall. Okay, and the only difference between these two, one has a plastic boot, one has a metal boot. And just to reiterate, if your ride has a metal boot and you get a plastic boot by accident, it might not fit in that ride, and then we are back to square one, getting you another coin mech, which then means you have to make another trip out to the mall, which we're trying to make this as easy as possible for everyone. Okay, now we do modifications on these. I'm not going to go through those because that's not important that you know the mods that we do, but what I do want you to realize is there's some real small key things that you can look for when this coin mech's jamming. First of all, this spring right here slides off, and then this part right here, which we call the Z-bar plate, will come off. That's the easiest way to unjam these mechs. You can also take a small screwdriver, and this will pry apart here if you have a jam down inside of here. Okay, as far as coin mechs jamming, even after we do these modifications, if it's a high traffic area and if kids are putting different coins and the wrong coins in it, they're going to jam no matter what. It's just that simple. We can send you 100 coin mechs, but and we can send you brand new coin mechs out of the boxes, they will jam if the wrong coins are put in them. So a lot of times when we get calls for mechs being jammed and we get a new one back, get yours back, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and we can actually test it and turn it and send it right around, just because of the fact that it's the nature of the business. It's the nature of this particular part. They will jam. They are not bulletproof, and they're not foolproof. But this is a real easy way to get the jam out. Slide this off. The Z-bar plate comes off, and get all the coin that's stuff in there. And then this will also come apart. You got to be cautious because it's plastic, and you can break these tabs, but they're pretty tough. Okay, and then that'll come apart, and you can get the coins out of it there. Okay, so we have the S1 coin mech family in tall metal boot, and you can see the difference between these two talls and this short. Okay, these are probably the most popular mechs, but I need to show you all the ones that are most common. Then we have tall with a plastic boot, and then we have the short mech, which is also plastic and metal boot. I just didn't bring the metal in just because I figured you didn't need to see it. And then you come over here. This is the next coin mech. Now this is on all the Falgus rides. Usually the rides that have this have a door that has two of these side by side in it, okay? And the biggest key to tell the difference between this, because if I say, does your coin mech have a silver push button, return button? You say, yeah, and they say, okay, well, so do these S1s, all right? Specify that it has the plastic return tray, okay? Fulgus has those. This mech is pretty bulletproof. Okay, it's pretty tough. Now, you can also take this apart as well, where you basically take this up out of the you take this up out of the road, and then this whole thing will come apart, and you can get your jams out of there. But they're pretty bulletproof. And like I said, these are in all the Fulgus rides, and they're almost always side by side one another, where there's two in one door. Okay, and then this is probably the second most common coin mech that we have. It is in all the Mitchell rides, Bafco rides, not all the Bafco rides, but it's I think it's in some, but it's in the Mitchell rides. We call this is an Asahi mech. This mech does have a little bit more problem. It's a little more problematic than the S1s. It's harder for us to do any modifications on it, but it functions the same. Okay, you'll notice that it has a lever instead of a push button. That's very distinctive to the Asahi mechs. Now, they're usually all pretty much one size. You unjam them the same way. This will slide off. This piece will drop down. Put it back on. Slide the spring back onto it. Okay. Now, there are some modifications that we do to these. Not really important for us to go into them, but that's the Asahi mech. Okay, now next, this is our cartridge mech. This is in the Auto Rovo rides and all the ice rides, your Racer 08s, your NASCARs, and your ice coasters. Okay. This is a pretty solid mech too. It usually goes and crashes for two reasons. Kids shoving too many coins of different size down inside of it, and it just wears out. But it takes quite a long time for this baby to wear out. It seems to be a pretty solid mech. There's very, very little modifications that we do to these, and when they need replaced, they just need replaced. And usually the ride that you're calling about really gives this away, because especially if you're calling for a mech for a coaster or something. The coasters and NASCARs and Racer 08s all have the same kind of coin mech. So, real quick review. We have the S1 family. We have short and tall, which can come in either a metal or a plastic boot. And we have the Fulgus mech, which has a silver push button, but has a plastic coin return tray. Then we have our second most popular mech, which is the Asahi mech, which has the lever. Okay? And then we have our cartridge mechs, which are in predominantly the ice rides, the racers, the NASCARs, and the coasters. Okay? Hope this helps you out. Thank you.